Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we are going to talk about the budget reconciliation bill that had immigration clauses in it. Apparently the Senate parliamentarian has rejected these immigration clauses from this bill, this budget bill. We are going to talk about it. We are also going to talk about how US is going to ease the restrictions on travelers who are fully vaccinated from Europe, India and some other countries starting November. And I'll also cover some important questions that I have got from my viewers regarding the adjustment of status and some related things that you might be interested in. So if you are interested in this topic, watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now in last video I talked about this reconciliation bill and how it had a lot of immigration related clauses into it, specifically benefiting EB category of visas, FB category of visas and also some documented dreamers. Some of the clauses proposed that you could just apply for your 485 if you had been waiting for your green card for up to 2 years, more than 2 years. Basically, if you had your I-140, I-130 approved for more than 2 years, you could just pay a fee which is $2,500 for FB category, $5,000 for EB category. You can just entirely skip the line, skip the waiting line and apply for your adjustment of status. That was incredible. This bill also proposed to have documented dreamers, children who have come from the backlog countries into the United States as children below the age of 16. As long as they fulfill some other conditions, they could apply for their adjustment of status. And obviously there were some big provisions for the undocumented immigrants and DACA recipients and so on, for a pathway to permanent residency for more than 8 million people. So more than 8 million people were poised to benefit from this immigration bill. Immigration related clauses included in this reconciliation bill. Unfortunately, last week on Friday, the Senate parliamentarian rejected these immigration related clauses from the reconciliation bill. Now, some will argue that the Democrats pushed it too far on these immigration reform clauses to include into the reconciliation bill. They pushed it too far, so much so that it drew them into questions. But regardless, there is this parliamentarian process in the Senate that kind of keeps a check on what goes into these reconciliation bill, basically the budget bills. And that's what we saw played out. Now let's look at what the news says about this. Now on NPR, it says, in a blow to Democrats, Senate officials block immigration reform in the budget bill. As you can see down below here, Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough has ruled against Democrats' effort to include a massive immigration reform effort in their $3.5 trillion proposed spending bill, dealing the party a setback that very likely closed the doors on the effort to include pathway to citizenship in the partisan legislation. What it means is this basically is a recommendation by the Senate parliamentarian that these immigration clauses do not contribute towards this budgetary intent of these bills or these immigration reform bills. If you want to pass something like that, you got to follow the right process through the filibuster rule, which requires 60 votes in the Senate instead of just 50 that are required by these reconciliation packages. Democrats argued that the pathway to citizenship for 8 million immigrants would raise the budget deficit by about $139 billion. Now, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said, "We will continue to fight to pursue the best path forward to grant them the ability to obtain lawful permanent residency. Now as you can see, the Democrats will continue to fight for this pathway to citizenship for these undocumented immigrants, and Chuck Schumer said that they will try to renegotiate some other clauses with the Senate parliamentarian. So we'll see what happens. The door is not entirely closed, but for now it looks like it was a major setback to this bill, or immigration clauses in this bill to get passed in the Senate. Senate Democrats have said that they are going to create an alternative proposal and put in front of the Senate parliamentarian again to see if that passes. So all in all, what happens is now this big thing that we discussed in my last video, a lot of these clauses may not go into the final version of the bill for the reconciliation bill to be passed. There may be some scaled down version. Now what are the things that get left out and what are the things that get included remains to be seen. As soon as that text is available in the future, I'll be sure to make a video on it and let you know. Now what does this mean for you and I? I would say don't put a lot of emphasis on what goes into these texts and bills. Watch it for your knowledge, but don't make any life decisions based on that. So if you are planning to buy a house, planning to buy a car, planning to change your job, or even to change your country, to go into a different country to live or come to the United States, base your decisions on what you want to do, what your family wants to do, and so on. Don't base your decisions on what goes on in the Senate or the parliamentarian or the Congress, because go by what are the current rules and make your decisions based on the current rules that are in effect. I wouldn't go based off the speculation, making some important life decisions. From my experience, you got to focus on your life, focus on your job, focus on your family, and immigration and all of these things happen in the background. Now let's look at some good news. Now what happens is US will allow, now recently it was declared that US will allow fully vaccinated people to start entering into the United States from countries such as Europe, India, and so on. Now let's look at the article. Now here is what it says on the Reuters site. US to relax travel restrictions for vaccinated foreign air travelers in November. So basically, United States will reopen in November to air travelers from 33 countries including China, India, Brazil, and most of the Europe who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. White House declared that. Now, US will admit fully vaccinated air travelers for 26 so-called Schengen nations in the Europe: France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, Greece, Great Britain, Ireland, China, India, South Africa, Iran, and Brazil. Now if this happens, it is a good news for a lot of people. A lot of us have been stuck due to pandemic in the last 1.5 years, haven't been able to visit our home country or meet our parents and relatives in a while now. And then there were a lot of restrictions for people who went before coming. You had to have a COVID negative test and so on. Now looks like they are planning to reduce or scale down these requirements while coming back from countries such as India, China. So if you are planning to make a visit to India in December or January, this might be a good news for you, so that you probably don't need to take that negative test as long as you are fully vaccinated. So that's what it looks like. So we'll get more details as we draw close to November, and I'll be sure to let you guys know what are the rules that have changed effective November. Now there is a question, and this is very relevant during this August and September time frame. A lot of people are getting their green cards and 485 adjudicated and approved, and that is because the final push by the USCIS to kind of use as many immigrant visa numbers from EB category as possible by the end of this fiscal year. Now one of the last requirements that they are asking is IAT 693, which is the medical forms, and now some of them are getting RFEs, some of them are getting contacted directly by the consulate or the visa officer to submit those documents. I have been telling you guys that you should go ahead and submit your medicals if you are in the line for 485 approval and your date is current. Don't wait for an RFE. If you get a phone call or an email or whatever, you just respond it as soon as possible. Now the question is whether there is a status change online after you submit your documents or respond to the RFE for your medicals. Now if there is a formal RFE, it might show a status change after you reply back and after you submit your documents. But if there is just a phone call or an email, there is a possibility that you might not see any status change even after your submission of your documents. Now that is because the process is moving so fast. Some visa officers may not follow through on all the status changes online, and they may just go directly to adjudicating your case. So that is just my opinion. I think that's what is the case. So that's why some people are not seeing any status changes after medically submitted. Now some people have said because the dates haven't moved forward in October, Charlie or the Department of State may have double counted the visa numbers in EB2 and EB3 category, both in case of the downgrades. So basically they are saying that if there is some there are people who are downgrading, they are being counted against both EB2 and EB3. I don't think that is the case. EB2 number is attached to your case only when you are documentarily complete in EB2 category, and when the visa and when the State Department requests a visa number from EB2 category for you. If you have passed that stage, then you are holding on to an EB2 number. If you have downgraded after that, you are still not allocated a EB3 visa number. So it's not like double dipping that is happening in your case. Until such time when your EB3 case moves forward to the documentarily completed state, and when the visa officer requests a visa number, EB3 visa number for you, they will drop the EB2 visa number and attach an EB3 visa number for your case. So you are not double dipping in any ways. So that is just my opinion, because you will only be counted against either EB2 or EB3 and not both at the same time. Now a lot of people have asked about November, what is going to happen in November, and it's pretty clear. Charlie has already mentioned that in the Visa Bulletin. As you can see here, down at the very bottom in the section F of the Visa Bulletin, in October Visa Bulletin, you can see that the State Department has clearly mentioned what is going to happen in the next couple of months. So as you can see, visa availability in the coming months, that's what they are saying. And this is probably a new section. For family based category, they are saying F1, F2B, F3 and F4 are not expected to change at all in November. F2A is going to be remaining current. In the employment based section, as you can see, the potential monthly movement, all of the EB1 category employment first category are going to remain current. For EB2 category, worldwide will remain current, but China and India will progress by several months. And EB3 category, as you can see, for worldwide category, there could be a final action date imposed as early as November. For China, they are saying, China and India both, for EB3, the dates could retrogress for EB3 as early as November. So that is what we were talking about in my earlier video. And for Philippines and Mexico, a final action date could be imposed in November. So this has been clearly mentioned in the Visa Bulletin. So if there are any doubts, maybe Charlie will clear out when the November Visa Bulletin comes out. We'll have another interview with him, and we'll definitely be asking them those questions. How did the EB3 dates retrogress? And obviously the answer is because of the downgrade petitions are now taking effect. They are showing effect into the Visa Bulletin right now. So far they hadn't shown that effect, but now most of the cases from EB3 are becoming documentarily complete, and requesting visa numbers from EB3 is kind of weighing down on the dates that are being reflected in the Visa Bulletin. Now there was another question whether the 60K Afghan refugees special immigrant visas, are they being carved out from any of the existing categories such as family based category or employment based category. To my knowledge, and I had covered this in my previous videos, these Afghan special immigrant visas are not carved out from any of these existing category. They are in addition to the existing visa numbers that are already allocated in the different categories. So you should not think that those visa numbers are going to be taken out from EB category or so on. Now here's another example. I have been telling everybody that if you are in your final action, in your final stage, which is adjustment of status, and if your final action date is current, don't wait to submit your medicals if you haven't done it already. Do submit them because there is a likelihood that your green card might get processed before the end of September. It is very critical. If you get an RFE, you submit it in the timely manner. Even if you don't get RFE, I would suggest that and if your date is current in the final action date, go ahead and submit your medicals. This will ensure that your file gets updated with your medicals, and that might trigger some action on your case, and you might even get your approval. So that's just my thought. And somebody also gave me the information that they reached out to the consulate, and the visa officer asked for the name, address and all. They were told to go and physically submit the medicals at the local USCIS office on or before September 30th, and that is the date when that they are trying to meet to use as many EB visa numbers as possible. So which is interesting, because now not only are they asking you to submit it by mail, they are even asking you to physically drop them at the nearest USCIS local office where your case might get adjudicated, which is very interesting. I haven't never heard about this before, but seems like that is also what is happening. All of these things are to make sure that they are using the visa numbers for 2021 and expediting your case so that you can eventually get your green card. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. If you like the content of this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.